every day, April.
Hello. So a few of you had suggested that I talk about music, and a lot of you have suggested that I talk about something so that you can get to know me better. I love music. I listen to it all the time. It's more than a part of my life. I'm always trying to find new stuff to listen to, whether it was recorded yesterday or like 100 years ago. So since music is such a big part of my life, I was unable to whittle down my favorite albums past the top 25. These are in no particular order. Actually, I think the bands are in alphabetical order. You can check that. Great for someone who has a lot of time on their hands. I chose these 25 albums based on the fact that they've had a massive impact on my life at one point. It might have been when I was really young, or it might have been this week. It just kind of depends. Let's get started. This album is called I and Love and You by the Avett brothers. It took me through the last few months of my stay in Phoenix, so it reminds me of that time and it's very important to me. One of my favorite bands, Belle and Sebastian. This is their second to latest album, The Life Pursuit. It's just wonderful. The next album is Cassadaga by Bright Eyes. I always thought this was a little silly, but you can like find little codes and stuff with this code finder. The next album is indeed by Coldplay. It's their album X&Y. Just really fantastic for me when I was like 15 or 16 years old. Another album from that time, Plans by Death Cab for Cutie. Really good. I have a digital copy of this album, but I'm actually considering buying one at the store. It's Dog Problems by The Format. This is Ganging Up on the Sun by Guster. A lot of nights spent listening to this. My favorite song ever, Dear Valentine, is on this album. It's been my favorite song for a long time, and it's on a really good album. Keane, still probably my favorite band if I have to pick a favorite. This album is their first one. It changed my life when I was like 14 years old. As much as music can change your life. I get a little like romantic in that sense. This is Under the Iron Sea, also by Keane, and it did the same thing to me when I was about 17. Sam's Town by The Killers. Amazing album. I know I have a copy somewhere, but I can't find it. The album Let Go by Not a Surf with the song Blonde on Blonde on it. Amazing album, amazing song. Tiger Lily by Natalie Merchant. Amazing, amazing music. Picture me at like 6 years old just soaking this up. And when I was about 10, starting to go into my more formative years, her second album, Ophelia, came out. I listened to this last week in my car. I mean, it's amazing. Some people don't like Oasis. I do. What's the Story by Morning Glory? One of my favorites of all time. Pretty Odd by Panic at the Disco. Not everybody likes them either, but this has been an important album in my life over the last couple years. I know for a lot of you, I don't need to tell you the name of this. But for those who don't know, you need to listen to this. It's Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. I think the same can be said about OK Computer by Radiohead. I didn't listen to this until Thanksgiving of 2007, and I'm wishing the 6-year-old me had picked this up. Again, hotly contested album. Really important to me in high school. Stadium Arcadium, Red Hot Chili Peppers. The album Far by Regina Spektor, recommended to me by someone very close to me. And it's pretty quickly become one of the best in my life. Again, one of those albums that should have made me know that I was gay when I was like 8 years old. Surfacing by Sarah McLachlan, very special to me. Wincing the Night Away by the Shins, senior year of high school, and that is all I'm going to say about that. This is Somewhere More Familiar by Sister Hazel. I bought this from the Record Exchange in downtown Boise when I was 8 years old. Always gonna have a place in my heart. I grew up with this album. Illinoise by Sufjan Stevens. I have a digital copy of this album. It's just incredible. This album came out when I was 2 years old. I didn't start listening to it until I was 6. Little Earthquakes by Tori Amos. In about 15 years, I don't think I've gone more than a couple months without listening to it, so there you go. I picked this up when I first came up here for school when I was 18. It's Quebec, or Quebec, however you want to say it, by Ween. I remember getting settled in my dorm, starting to make these videos on YouTube, and this album was what I was listening to, so that should probably say a lot. Pretty nostalgic video for me, probably pretty boring for you, but I know that those of you who have made it this far are probably pretty interested in music, so I'm going to ask you now to please put your favorite album. If you can pick one or whittle it down to just a few. I don't want a ton to look at, but I want to see them in the comments because I'm trying to find new albums all the time, new artists, new songs. Anyway, that's it for me today. I'll see you guys tomorrow.